And we're back with another episode of Before You Buy. That show will give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. And today, I'm a big racing game fan, and I'm happy we're getting one right now. We're talking about Grid. The series makes a return here and serves as a bit of a reboot for the series. Codemasters is behind it here, and they definitely know how to make racing games. Codemasters is like synonymous with racing at this point, thanks to stuff like Dirt. Plus, with that, Grid is also a series that has a lot of fans, for good reason. Now, with 2019 Grid, it feels really simple. It feels a bit light on personality and content features, especially for the asking price, but it makes up for that with raw, good, core racing gameplay. I think with how it plays, it's up there as one of the best racing games of the year. Now, there hasn't been too many this year, so it's not the hardest bar to clear, but still, I think this Grid is a solid, if simple, racer. It does a couple of new things under the hood that I really enjoy too. I'll get to that, but to start, Grid feels like another one of those racing games that finds the happy medium in between 1, arcade racer with flexible steering and drifting for fun factor, and 2, hardcore racing simulation where you have to worry about constantly sliding off the track, properly braking, stuff like that. Grid is balanced between the two in a way I really like, but like a game like Forza, it gives you plenty of options to really customize and enjoy how you race, from assists to visual indicators on the track, stuff like that. There's also a general difficulty slider that I'll get to. Driving is, like I said, really the selling point here, and I love it. There's a real good balance between worrying about braking and driving absolutely perfect with just the right amount of forgiveness in drifting and turning that makes the driving really engaging for your palms to get sweaty, but also just like damn freaking fun. Accelerating after pulling off a perfect drift around the corner feels like immensely satisfying thanks to not just the way it controls and the way they designed it, but the sound and the feedback given along with it. The game also has a limited rewind feature, popularized by other modern racing games, but thankfully here you can mostly either ignore it or turn it off if it's not your thing. The choice is there, but it's not always essential. Now, what I like about racing here is that positioning is incredibly important. If you do use that rewind feature, it's less because you want to go flying off the track and into a ravine or flip your car or whatever. It's more about you correcting a missed opportunity for jockeying for position a certain proper way. Managing speed during a turn is just as important as working through the crowd smoothly at the same time. That's where the rush is. More than a sense of the actual speed, like the sense of speed and the whoosh, the game kind of does an okay job at conveying that. That's really just like a visual effects thing, I think, at a point. Still, it's fun. But there's some variety to the racing. It's all mostly track and street hybrid based, but you're in high-end tuner cars, stock cars, muscle cars, and there's some high-speed F1 style racing thrown in there too. It's not super varied, but there is some, and I appreciate that. There's also a great amount of licensed vehicles that are really nice to see here. Customization is limited, but you can change stickers and colors on most cars, and then spec-wise, you can adjust tuning on the pre-race screen if you're worried about traction, suspension, stuff like that. It's not highly complex, it's not like a PC simulator, but it's nice to have sliders there to just choose your preference. This all mostly plays out in career mode, which simply put is kind of just like a massive playlist of races and tournaments. That's it. There are milestones to achieve and you can level up your account, but it's fairly simple, and on the one hand, I don't like that at all. But at the very least, I can say that it's refreshing from stuff like Forza Horizon most recently, which is just in your face with a bunch of stuff. This is way more of a relaxed fit type of thing. There are only so many tracks, so the game has a lot of night and day and weather variations to try and make up for it in these career races. You're in China, Havana, the United States, among others, and tracks look pretty darn great with realistic reactive crowds. Cars too look really damn good with some nice smoke and spark effects, as well as rain droplets and some realistic damage modeling. The game doesn't quite overall have the fidelity of the massive AAA heavy hitters and stuff, but it does look very good. And then there's a teammate system where you can spend game currency to have a different racing crew that have their own behaviors and identities on the track and can share in your winnings. It's an interesting concept, one that I definitely like to see expanded upon in the future. Where this racer identity really works and what caught me by surprise though is the artificial intelligence. The game boasts racers with apparently 400 different identities and personalities, and I was generally caught off guard by how some of the AI works. I think they actually use the term here like nemesis system, and some of them are aggressive all the time, and I was surprised at the obnoxious challenge. Others only get nasty if they're pushed to it. And it's hard to explain, but the opponents do actually feel different here compared to other racing games. They'll get competitive with you and they'll hunt you down. That's the nemesis thing. It's like they'll remember during a race. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I really love what they've done here with it, like how the AI overall feels. It's subtle, but it feels nice and new and is one of like the secret strongest aspects of the game along with the racing. Now, aside from free play racing where you can just do whatever you want and race however you want, there's also online multiplayer. You can create your own custom races or do some simple matchmaking and pop into a race. I've had a couple of strange connection issues here and there, but when it does work, it seems competent enough. I'm sure it's just some pre-launch stuff. As of now, though, there's just not much to it, so I don't see myself going back to it too much, but I do appreciate the custom race creator with all the different options and rule sets. I like that. But Codemaster's idea here is to continue to support the game after launch. Like if you buy into the special edition of the game, you get access to a bunch of new cars, tracks, and races and content added over time automatically. They boast like 90 new career races over seasons coming, and that's something if you want it. This does work in tandem, I think, with like some of the nifty account customization, like banners and accolades that display over each car before a race. There are some cool options, and it's definitely like one of the slicker interface and personality things in a game that otherwise doesn't have much personality at all, from the music, or really lack thereof, to the menus. This game is about the racing with almost no fluff or presentation whatsoever. Now, some of you out there, you might think that feels half-assed. That's valid. Others might like the no BS simplicity. I just wish it came with more modes and features. Free play is nice, and like I said, I love the custom races and multiplayer, but I wish there was just generally more to it, especially with the career. I don't necessarily need like out-of-car distractions or anything lame like that, or a hackneyed story, but just more to do, more to manage, more to like think of. I think the team stuff is a really nice start, but I hope they keep going with that stuff and the Nemesis stuff big time, because it's one of the coolest things. I just hope the game improves post-launch in this regard, more stuff, because otherwise, when you boil it down to its parts, it's a damn good racer. I really like this game. It's pretty much going to be my racing game of 2019 at this point, and I want a VR mode, damn it. But that's just me. Of course, this is a before you buy. You know how this works by now. I give you some pros, some cons, and some personal opinion. So now I want to hear yours down in the comments below. Racing fans, what's up? Do you guys like Grid? Is this not really your preference? Would you rather play something else? Were you looking forward to this one? And how do you feel about the content offerings so far? What platform are you playing on? I'm playing this one on PS4, but I'd love to hear what PC people think about the optimization. That's just me. If you learned anything about this game though, clicking the like button is the best way you can help us out. We would really appreciate that. And if you're new, it's worth considering subscribing and hitting that notification bell, because we put out videos every single day. But as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.